Today we're going for a walk along the beach walk here in Sanur to get an update on what's changed, what's new, what's gone. Let's get stuck in. So we're starting off today down in Pantai Sari. You've got the big car park down there. You've got this little boardwalk that leads to where a lot of the surfing and diving trips go from. And then you've got a bunch of warungs up here, and some of the best satay babi can be had in one of these warungs down here, Bulkomang. Check it out, definitely worth a go. And then we start the walk up here along the path. Now this southern end of the path is really a more local area. You'll find a lot more locals here than you will in some of the other areas. And this beach is a fantastic little beach. When the tide is high, it's a great little beach to come and have a swim at. It's not too deep and the waves aren't too big, much like most of Sanur as well because of that offshore reef. So if you want to come with kids for a swim, this is a fantastic little place to come for a swim. There are a few little cafes and little seats on the beach and stuff down here. Real local style. I like it. It's got a nice feel to it, to be honest, but it's not very popular with most visitors to Sanur, mainly because most of the restaurants are further down the strip. Now, as you get down here, you see this fence with a whole bunch of construction going on over there. That's been going on there for a long time now, well over a year. It looks like they're building a hotel. I'm not 100% sure, but by the look of the building that's in the background there, it's huge, really tall. And yeah, you can see there, look. So there's something going on there. It's been going on for ages, and I reckon that could easily go on for another year or two. It's such a big project. And look, it's a nice part of the town, honestly, but again, not so popular. And as we just get around the corner, we get to what we would most commonly call the most southerly hotel in Sanur, the most southerly beachfront hotel, and that's the Mayeur. And with the Mayeur, you also have a cafe called the Genius Cafe, which has really good reviews as well. And just look at that beach, just fantastic. Doesn't look this good when it's low tide though, it just looks like mud flats when it's low tide, but when it's high tide like this, absolutely beautiful. Well, it's not even high tide, but yeah, it's quite high. So this is a Genius, look at it, nice beachfront area, heaps of dogs here usually as well. There are these nice custom coconuts, they're pretty cool, look at that. And then, yeah, huge little outdoor area. Huge and little, that doesn't really make sense, but it's a huge outdoor area. Fantastic, very popular. And then right next door is that Mayeur front area, got the front bar. Yeah, and then the pool is just behind that. And then back into the restaurants and the rooms. But it's a pretty popular hotel, that one. And the beachfront down here is fairly popular as well. These places are more like family style hotels, big sprawling resorts with hundreds of rooms, access to the beach, big restaurants and that sort of stuff. And the budget that you'll be looking at on a lot of these places is around the $150 or 1.5 million rupiah per night mark. Once here you get to this area bermain, it's basically gym equipment and some slippery slides for the kids. It's a pretty cool area. Like in Bali, we don't really have too many communal areas that are for the people, and this is one of them. Heaps of slides for the kids, and those gym equipment things get a bit of a workout during the mornings as well. And the beach is just there with all those sun lounges and stuff, and it's pretty popular right now. Looks like a storm's going to come in, and hopefully I don't get done in it. But people are still out there enjoying themselves, because it's actually slightly cooler because there's a bit of a breeze in the air. And right next to the Mayeur, we come up to Retro Beach. And some people actually call the beach here Retro Beach, even though it's actually the name of the hotel, but I don't care. If people say Retro Beach, they know what you mean. It's this place here. Very popular. They do some great food there. That's actually right next door to one of the accesses to the beach as well. There's a beach road that comes down there, and a lot of people park down there, or you can walk there from places like the Surumala Hotel to get to the beach down this end. And then straight after that is the beach. It's like a spa cafe. They've got an ice bath there or a plunge pool. it's fairly popular as well. Not as popular as it could be. I mean, I wish it was more popular, but it's a good place. You know, it's worth coming down to. It's more like cafe style, you know, smoothie bowls and that sort of stuff. Yeah, not bad. Then we have the Rip Curl School of Surf. They do all your surfing lessons, hydrofoil, you've got stand-up paddle, kite surfing, and they'll do that from here, take you out. They're pretty professional, and they get pretty good business too, really good business. Highly recommend coming there if you want to do some water sports. Really just fantastic. The second really big resort down this end of town is the Prama. It's something that's been around for ages, and it's been a favourite with people for a long time as well, because it's got that, I don't know, big resort feel, family vibe, you know, decent food. You get all, you know, all included with meals and stuff like that as well if you want. They've got a pizza joint there. It's just so popular, and for kids especially, because of that big pool area, it's just fantastic. The pool area's got these big buckets which tip masses of water into the pool, and the kids seem to love it. And this is the bamboo lounge, which one of my viewers actually designed, and he was the guy that also owned, if you knew, in Ubud, Warungs, and also Lamak as well. He owned those two places. Fantastic. Yeah, that's the pool area in there. Yeah, it's just so vast, this resort, you know. And the restaurant, this is all the restaurant in there, and it goes miles back. Like, that sometimes gets pretty full. Like, in busy times, those restaurants get full, especially in the mornings for breakfast and that sort of stuff with big buffets. Yeah, just unreal. And then you've got this other pool up here as well, which is over here. All still part of the Prama resort. It's just really big. It's one of the early ones in town as well, so well regarded. And it has some people that really sort of keep coming back as well. Big pool, lots of rooms. It's 4 stories, that building complex there. Construction zone here. Someone told me this is going to be Lila Pantai, so if that's that might already be there by the time you watch this. This Costa by Monster Cafe, been around now for over 6 months, almost a year, and never really has taken off, even though there's a bunch of money gone into it. And yeah, the beach has been washed away over the Christmas period. It got washed away down here pretty badly. Yeah, so that all used to be beach. Even the trees nearly been washed away. It's so bad. And that brings us to the Puri Santrian. Now, the Puri Santrian is a class resort, not far away from the Prama there, just a little bit up the path. Another big resort, but it's a little bit, well, it's a bit more expensive, a little bit more classy. And this outside dining area is just so popular, really fantastic as well. Nice spot to sit out, especially when it's not too blazing hot, to sit out and have a bite to eat or a drink, especially these, yeah, sundowners that people like to have, these afternoon drinks. And then to the left is the actual hotel in there as well. It looks like they're putting on some event soon. They've got a big stage set up there over there. Normally that's where people are having brekkie. And the beach out the front of the Puri Santrian is fantastic too. They've got these little lounge chairs out here. They look great. And the pool's over there. It's a pretty cool pool. It's not massive, but it's certainly good enough. And Puri Santrian is somewhere that I would love to stay one day. Still haven't stayed there. Maybe I will in the future. Just up from the Puri Santrian are a bunch of Warungs. And they, look, they're not that busy normally. They've got a few people eating down here. Well, that's a newer place. Hyatt hasn't even opened yet. Or maybe just opened. Haven't seen that before, and I come past here nearly every day. But heaps of places like this, Jackfish and stuff, are still open. And it's a less sort of low-key sort of place to come if you're looking for a bit of cheap food down on the beach there. The location's fantastic. I mean, it is beachfront, and the food is cheap along here as well. This bar's pretty popular, Double O Beach. Yeah, that's pretty popular. Still Jadi Pantai, extremely popular, mainly with locals. You get some foreigners here as well, mainly a local hangout. Very popular, a little bit more on the expensive side than some places. And definitely a really great place if you want to have a beachside little cafe meal. And then right next door, well, there's another beach access down that road. That's Jalan Kusuma Sari. This one is that new avocado place called Avocado Lovers. There's people in there waving. I don't know if you got that on camera. That place is pretty cool too. If you like sweet avocado, like they make it into a drink, avocado with chocolate or whatever, it's really, really nice. Other fruit juices there as well. Nice little area down here. And then the new nest is just there. That's the one that's open because the original one was shut down in that big destruction that's gone on down at Pantai Duyung. Just around the corner from that is the extremely popular Tapa if you're Indonesian, or Tapa if you're an Australian. Really popular. They often have live music on here as well. It's just such a popular place. And they've got a little marquee out there because of the rain, which has been a pretty bad rainy season. Extremely popular. I've actually never eaten there, even though I pass it all the time and people have told me to go there. I just still haven't had the opportunity. And I probably should, because it looks pretty cool. And a lot of people do love it. So that's Tapa. And then that's the Intercon. Intercon has a long, wide beachfront there. They rake that every morning, and sometimes they've got a big job with a lot of seaweed and stuff to rake up. Fantastic hotel, obviously, 5-star. They've got the Pier 8 restaurant, which is right next door. It's often got special deals on at that restaurant as well. If you are not staying at the Intercon, you can come down there and get a special breakfast deal or whatever sort of deal they've got on at the current time, like happy hour and that sort of stuff. Just after the Intercon, we get to Pantai Duyung, and that's where all of those restaurants and cafes and the nest have all been shut down over the past period of time, and that's because of new development that's going in. They were all renting their land off people, and as you can see now, it's being totally destroyed. I mean, there's just workmen here. All the chairs and tables are all gone, and it's a little bit of a sad sight. This will definitely be changing as the years go by, as these places gradually become more and more demolished and the new project takes shape. Now, the new project is rumoured to be either a resort or a beach club. I don't know what it is, but it's certainly something that's quite controversial. Lila Pantai, one of the great places along here, is gone. You've got the sign still though. But even the walls of the buildings and stuff have been ripped down. It's that final. You know, look at this, that restaurant. I mean, there's not even any hint of what that was now. I mean, I've almost lost my bearings. I mean, Barramundi's there, but I've lost my bearings because all the signs and everything have all been ripped down of all these cafes. And then we get to Lemo Beach Cafe by Malacca. They've actually got some other places in Sanur as well, which is popular. And then you've got Seagrass by the beach. Really popular in the morning mainly. They're doing pastries these days that they get from Le Croissant, just there. And then La Playa, one of the most famous places all along the beach. Its deck has recently fallen into the ocean due to the large storms we've had. Hopefully by the time you watch this, that's going to be rectified. But it's really impacted the business because that's where people like to sit, and they can't now, obviously. You have to sit inside. It's still got people in there, but it's heavily impacted by that collapse there. I got rained out yesterday, so that's why I've got the 70s blouse on, and it's blazing hot with the sun shining. Let's carry on. Which brings us to the Hyatt Regency with all these colourful fishing boats out the front, which are absolutely fantastic. The pizzeria restaurant attached to the Hyatt Regency, which I think is unreal, especially in the evening, having a few drinks as the sun sets, live band plays. They even do some great Italian food there, and it's not too expensive for the quality on offer. They've got heaps of sunbeds all along the beach, which are pretty popular on sunny days like this. And they've got heaps of pools inside there, which are absolutely fantastic. They actually renovated one, about 6 months ago now, and it's just looking absolutely fantastic. This is the beach out the front of the Andaz, and from here you get some great views of some other landmarks around the place. Straight across is normally what you can see is Nusa Penida, Nusa Lembongan. In the distance on a very clear day, you can see Mount Rinjani, which is 150 kilometres away, but Mount Rinjani is 3.8 kilometres tall. And then in that direction, you usually see Gunung Agung, it's in the clouds at the moment. That's 50 kilometres away, and you can see that very clearly on most mornings. So this beach walk is really fantastic to do early morning, around the 7 o'clock time frame, because at that time you really do get some spectacular views of all the landmarks around Bali. And this is the Andaz. They've got a little restaurant out the front, which is, well, it's not too popular. I mean, it's called the Fisherman's Club. It's all right. I've eaten there before. It's actually very good food, but I don't know, it just doesn't have the same vibe as the one at the Hyatt Regency, even though the food's very good. And then you've got the big pool down here for the Andaz, which is absolutely sensational. One of my favourite pools actually in all of Sanur. It's just got that beachfront there. That's fantastic. And the colour of the water is just sensational. Love it. They've got all the day beds down the front here as well. The Andaz is all class. One of my favourite ones in all of Sanur. Look at it. Brilliant. This is the Mayeur. They've got a big brick wall in front of it, which makes it hard to see. Basically, they've got a pool up there, and then the restaurant's over there. Their beachfront outlook is very good as well. Actually, the Mayeur is one of the better places to stay because of the location. The location of the Mayeur, probably one of the best, along with the Hyatt, I reckon. Just sensational location. Very popular hotel, 5-star quality. I mean, I was about to say that same sort of class as Hyatt Regency. It's a different style. It's sort of a more modern style, whereas Hyatt Regency is older style, but, you know, refined luxury. Yeah, it's difficult to compare the two in some ways, but whatever the case, they're both pretty expensive and awesome. You get great reviews. So just around this area where the Mayeur is, this is called Pantai Batujimbar. You'll see little private villas and stuff over the fence there. But this is a long stretch up here with not much. So most people aren't going to really stroll along here unless they're going from one place to another, or simply just need a bit of exercise, because there's nothing really to see or do between Pantai Batujimbar and Pantai Karang, which is quite a fair distance as well. Okay, we're at Pantai Karang, where you have a little temple there made out of coral. Karang means coral. Coral. I just rolled my R on there. Coral. And this is where the yoga happens on many mornings of the week. At about, I think it's 7:30, you'll see all the yoga people coming down here to the beach and doing yoga. Heaps of warungs in there. Really nice to get some snacks in there. Hello. Yeah, in there's some good snacks that I've had before. And then, interestingly, if you don't know, this is a place where they do cremations quite often on the weekend as well, because people have to work. Cremations happen in the car park up here, and I'll just show you where it is. It's quite incredible to see, and a bit gruesome too, but that's just reality here. In that car park over there, you see that big pile of rubbish around the back there? You can see the big pile of rubbish over the back there. And they'll light that up every now and then just to burn the rubbish, but it's also where they burn the bodies. And they'll get lit up there in between a bunch of banana trees. It's a fascinating sight. You'll see a big procession come down the main street of Sanur with the body, and it will end up there. And they'll remove the body, put it in the banana trees and burn it. And it's a fascinating cultural event, that's for sure. It's very sad. People are grieving the loss of a loved one, but for Balinese, there's a different significance in terms of being cremated, in terms of reincarnation and that sort of thing. Stuff that I don't understand fully, but I'm certainly really intrigued by it. This is Nelayan. It's in the middle of nowhere really, along the beach path, but it actually gets pretty popular during the day. I run past this most mornings and it's dead. So it's one of those places that sort of fires up around lunchtime because they've got lots of shade under the trees. And if you want to be close to the beach and you want a lot of shade, an absolutely wonderful place to hang out for a few hours, have a few drinks, maybe take a dip in the ocean. A really nice location. So 100 meters up from Nelayan, we have a cluster of hotels and restaurants. Beautiful beachfront area. Quite popular as well. It's not too far from the icon actually. This is the section leading up to the icon. So the first one is Villa Shanti. Yeah, and the next one is the Puri Santrian. And these two hotels are right next to each other. Extremely popular, great locations too. Yeah, if you like this sort of end of town, these are two good choices up here. Especially the Puri Santrian, that's got great reviews. People love that place, and it is a little bit expensive, but it's not like Hyatt Regency type expensive. I mean, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And then they've got a big pool over there. I mean, it's not Puri Santrian, it's Griya Santrian. I got that wrong. Griya Santrian. Puri Santrian's way back down the beach. Sister hotel. So next door to the Griya Santrian is the Besakih hotel. It's actually pretty popular as well, the Besakih, which is interesting because it's one of those older hotels, a bit cheaper as well, but the location's really good. I mean, look at it. Beautiful location. Nice established trees as well. And a nice big pool over there. A decent place to stay on the beachfront in Sanur. Right next to the Besakih Hotel is one of the classiest hotels in all of Sanur. It's the Tandjung Sari. Look at it, brilliant. They rake that beach every day, and then they've got this beautiful bar area, beautiful pool. And that place has bungalows. It's pretty expensive, but it's, you know, it's all class. Some people absolutely love that place because of how private it feels and how classy it feels. Up this end of town, it's one of the best ones. So definitely worth checking out on one of those booking websites like booking.com or something like that to see whether it sort of fits your budget and fits your style. And as you'll see from my face, I'm sweating buckets because this path during the middle of the day can be very, very hot. You need to come out here with sunscreen, a hat, all the stuff that I haven't done today. And bring some water with you as well, because you'll sweat literally litres while you're here. But it's actually the highlight of all Sanur, this beachfront path. It's a thing that you need to go and explore when you're here. Go as far as you're capable of going and see what you might find. It's only 5.6 kilometres long from one end to the other, or 5.8 from one end to the other. It's not too bad. And even if you just go halfway one day and halfway the other, then you catch a cab back to your hotel, you'll easily be able to explore most of the beachfront path in a few days. We're at the Respati. Respati is another one of these cheaper hotels down this end of the beach. I mean, when I say cheaper, I don't mean like real cheap, because it is still beachfront, but it's cheaper than, well, it's cheaper than Hyatt Regency. That's sort of the benchmark, isn't it, really? Or cheaper than the Andaz. But yeah, cheap-ish, good value for the beach. That's for sure, because the beach really does command a high premium compared to everything else in Sanur. And that sort of makes sense in a lot of ways, doesn't it? And we've reached the icon. The icon is my least favourite development in all of Sanur since I've been here. But there's something for everyone really at Icon, and that's what it's there for. It's for all those things that you can't be bothered, you know, walking down that main street for. You've got air-conditioned comfort. You might have kids, you might take them to the movie. Easy restaurants to go and have a look at. I mean, it's one of those places. I don't love it. I've been there a couple of times though. Last time I came down here, someone said, oh, I missed Kajura. Well, Kajura is there behind that big wall. I don't know anything about Kajura, except that some people do love it. The beach area is quite nice out the front, and it's close to Icon, next door to Icon, so it's very central, very good location. It must be fairly decent if there's so many people saying it's good. I guess it's one of those places. I mean, I get a lot of recommendations, and the ones that you get recommended multiple times, you've got to put a bit of faith in those recommendations, because obviously multiple people think it's pretty good. And then you have Sindhu Beach Market right next door. If you go in there, I'll just go a quick spin in there. Basically, it's one of those old art markets that you used to get back in the day, but they still exist. And it's pretty cool. If you like to do a bit of haggling for your merchandise, you know, nice little bags and clothing and that sort of stuff. They've got it all here at the Sindhu Beach Market. It's something which I miss actually about Bali. You don't get as many of these places as you used to, but it does still exist up here at Sindhu Beach Market. And those people that are there have been there for a long time and probably deserve your business. Check it out. Just up from the Sindhu Beach Market is Redback Specialty Coffee and Kayu Manis, as well as a really popular place here. It's called Soul on the Beach. Now, Soul on the Beach, really popular. I mean, you can see it, but even at night, it's a lot more popular than that. And this is what we'd call the Sindhu Beach area of Sanur. And from here, there are a whole string of places to eat and stay. Some better than others, but certainly the choice is just really fantastic. And if you're staying down this end of town, you're not going to be disappointed. That's in a Sindhu Beach hotel. It doesn't get good ratings on the booking.com and that sort of stuff, but it seems to be fairly popular. It's an older style place, and you know, the value might be there because it's a fairly cheaper, well, it's a cheap beachside place to stay. And when you get around here, there's heaps of cool places. So in around the back of that there is Dut's Burger. Fantastic burgers in there. I've had those before. I haven't had a chance to review it because it's usually busy when I go there. And then you have Warungs Amphibia. They're doing all the fresh seafood. I've reviewed that before. Brilliant place with fresh seafood and good value too. And then you have the Turtle Conservation, which has been there a long time. If you want to go and see turtles, maybe give a bit of a donation. See how they're trying to preserve the turtles here in Sanur by hatching them and releasing them and that sort of stuff. That's decent too. Now this is Pantai Sindhu itself. So the road, Jalan Pantai Sindhu, is just up there and it comes out to here. And then if we keep going north from here, we get into another cluster of restaurants which are really interesting as well. One of my favourite parts of Sanur, really. I won't mention all the places you should visit, but Tootsie's is one that seems to be fairly popular. It's been around for a long time. And then the next place up here, which is really interesting, I mean, it's a bit of a love-hate thing for me because it's so big, I don't really like that. But it's undeniable that they pump out great food, great coffee, and that air-conditioned area in there is great to relax after you've pounded that beachfront path for so long. It's actually nice to zip in there and get a cold drink and cool off for a while. And that beachfront area, super classy, nice deck. It's good, it's good. Even though it's a bit big and sort of bold, a little bit out of character for Sanur, in my view, you've got to go there anyway because it's just very good. You know, that's sort of an example of big money coming in and doing some good things. I really do think so. Once you get to this big thing here, you're at Pantai Sagara. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be a lobster or a crayfish or something like that. So there's a Pantai Sagara sign. Pantai Sagara and Pantai Sindhu, I mean, they are literally like 100 metres between one another, like really close. And it's amazing the drop off in number of people once you get to Pantai Sagara. It's almost the most northern place that I'd want to stay if I was coming to Sanur as a visitor. Anything further north than that, and you're really looking at something which is a little bit out of the way. And I'll show you what it looks like. So that vast expanse that we've just come through is the old Grand Inner, which has now been, well, that section has not reopened yet, but they've actually built some new areas. Hello! Built some new areas, like that's the Meru hotel over there. The pretty expensive brand new place, really flashy, big rooms. I'm not sure how popular it is, but I'm seeing a few people beside the pool, so it must be fairly popular. Location, well, as I said, it is quite far north, but I mean, if you're staying in an all-inclusive resort like that, you may not care, and it's not that far out of the way. If you're happy to walk down the beach path, I mean, within a kilometre you're back down at Pantai Sindhu, close to the icon, so it's not like miles out of the way or anything. It's just further north than I'd normally go. And then that big monstrosity over there, that white thing, well, that's been there. Well, that was the first big hotel in Bali, and apparently there was a big protest when it was built because it was too high. And that's when they started trying to implement a lot of design rules in Bali about what sort of hotels you can build, what sort of buildings you can build, and trying to keep the character of Bali the way it should be. It still exists though, and that's been renovated over the past a couple of years. I think it's reopened for business, but I'm not sure how it's doing. I am seeing a few people around though at the pool, so it must be operational. Yeah. Interesting part of the path, because for me it's always felt like a dead zone, and it does still feel, even though there are hotels here, still feels like a bit of a dead zone because there's no independent businesses here, or very few independent businesses. You want to go to a cafe, there's none here. You got to go to the hotel cafe, that sort of thing. Like there's no sort of beachfront shacks or anything. It's just devoid of all that. Yeah, devoid of all that stuff that we really like about Bali, the shabbiness of it. You know, that's, to be true, that's what we're really talking about when some guy sets up his own warung and pumps out great food. It's sort of what we love, even though he's done it on someone else's land. And they don't allow that up here, of course, because it's a little bit classy. But not far from here, you can get that. So just up from here is Pantai Bangsal, and they do have a lot of warungs there where you can try out the food. So after that really long section there of dead zone, you come to Museum Mayeur. That's a museum dedicated to the artwork of a guy who lived here in the 1930s. Worth a checking out if you're up this end of town. And then you've got all these warungs. These were the warungs I was talking about, that if you're staying at somewhere like the old Grand Inn there, the Meru, or the other big white hotel, you can come up here and get some cheap warung food. You know, you're looking at like 15,000 for a dish, that sort of price. And it's pretty cool. And this brings us into Pantai Bangsal. Now, Pantai Bangsal, not very popular, but has a nice beach. You go swimming in there, you'll be very happy to come down to the beach here. Come down to the beach, hang out under one of these big trees, have some warung food, go for a dip, have a few beers maybe, because they've got everything here. And I'm sure they'll be ice cold, because there's no way you're going to drink a beer if it's at the temperature I'm experiencing right now, which is what I'd call as hot as Hades. It's boiling and I'm sweating buckets. So that water would be beautiful, and I'm sure the beers would be just nice to touch the lips right now. So also in Pantai Bangsal that you'll find the highest concentration of bicycle hire that you'll see anywhere. And that means you also get some pretty good prices down here. I know that you'll get cheaper prices here than I've had in the past. I hear people shouting out 15,000 for an hour here. It means you can probably get it for half that. I paid, I think, 20, 25 last time I got a bike down at Pantai Karang, and I thought that was a good price. So, yeah, up here, there's a lot of competition. You can certainly get it cheaper. It's a good place to start your bike ride as well. You can go all the way down to the end to Pantai Sari. There's the sign for Pantai Bangsal. And we're getting close to the end of the trip now, because we're at the area that the old harbour used to be. So if you wanted to go to Nusa Lembongan in the past, you'd get out of your taxi here, go down to the beach, and you just jump into a boat straight from the sand. They'd be backing up. Now those boats still exist because they're still doing cargo from here. But the way you get to places like Nusa Lembongan now is from a proper formal harbour with a big building, which is at the next beach, Pantai Matahari, Terbit, which we're going to right now. This little section has been under construction now for nearly a year. And I nearly got bowled over by someone. It's just a construction zone now. What I think they're doing is they're going to make the path up high all the way along there, which will be a nice little walkway for everyone who wants to come up to Pantai Matahari Terbit without having to go down steps and up and down and up and down. All these warungs here are really interesting. There's some great coffee down here. Places like Gold Mine do fantastic coffee. And it's a little, more of a local joint where you might come in nongkrong and have a little pastry and a little bit of a coffee, daily coffee. Gold Mine next door. I love it. I love it down here. It's a nice little area. It's not the type of food that you'd be having big meals at. It's more like jajanan a lot of the time, because it's more like beach food, coming down to the beach and having a few snacks. I mean, of course, you can get your nasi goreng and mi goreng like at this place here. But a lot of the food is more jajanan, gorengan, chips, beers, and you know, cold drinks as well. Nice little spot. And when this path gets done properly and it doesn't look like a construction zone, I think it's going to be a fantastic little spot to go. I really do. And this is really close to the Pantai Matahari Terbit sign. So here we are at Pantai Matahari Terbit. That literally translates to the sunrise beach, because it's a great place to watch sunrise, as is most of Sanur as well, especially once you get around to the Hyatt area. The sunrises in Sanur can be absolutely spectacular, especially if it's one of those really crystal clear days. It's just the distance you can see. I mean, you can actually see the little ravines on Gunung Agung 50 kilometres away. You can see Mount Rinjani, and the sun can just be beautiful as it rises up over Nusa Penida and Nusa Lembongan over there. This little section here is a huge expanse of concrete, which is not particularly good to look at, but it's actually right next door to the harbour. So the harbour is at Pantai Matahari Terbit, and the problem with transport around here is that it's actually a red zone for online taxis. So if you want to be picked up or dropped off around here, it can be problematic, and you'll want to engage the services of the local taxi corporation to get in and out, so you don't have any hassles. Otherwise, you'll need to walk to Pantai Bangsal or walk to the main road. And if you've got a lot of luggage, that can be a hassle. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to Nusa Lembongan or Nusa Penida, try not to bring so much luggage, or bring a backpack so you can go to the main road or Pantai Bangsal to get your taxi. Otherwise, just engage the services of the local taxi corporation and they'll look after you. And there we have it, Pelabuhan Sanur, the Sanur Harbour, 5.6 k's, or 5.8 k's I think it is now, from Pantai Murtasari in the very south of Sanur. That's the whole path, and it's not too difficult to go along the whole path if you're on a bicycle, but even if you want to walk it, you can do it. Like yesterday, I ran from Murtasari to here and back, and then through the canal. So you can run it if you're a runner. If you're not a runner, you can probably walk it, but you've got to choose your battles, because if you do it in the blazing heat like me, you're probably going to lose 5 kilos in sweat, and you're going to need to refuel with a few beers afterwards, which I've got to say is not such a bad thing either. Look, thanks for coming along on this Sanur stroll on the beachfront of Sanur. Really glad to have you along. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur. I'll catch you next time.